tasks. Okay. So one of the tasks is the preparation for the reading. Preparation for reading. Here's just some general questions as regards what is the baby learning, or is a baby learning language before he or she speaks? So we know, because of we know babies, how long do they take to speak? A baby, when does a baby speak?
When he start to understand.
Yeah, so yes, they understand first, and then they speak. And they speak at around the age of probably 1, 2, they start saying words. Yes, and they go through stages. So the idea is here that you think, and we're going to see also in the PowerPoint, how was your process of learning English? Which were the stages that you went through? So we know we need to go through stages. Yes, it's not that we are born and that in 2 days of English classes we learn everything. So this is for you to think about that. We're going to see in the PowerPoint. And then we have the reading. So the reading I'm going to show you. And then this short post to the forum that I'm going to explain also in the PowerPoint. Then this is the section I say is optional. This is optional, really. This is a very good video, very clear. The speaker speaks slowly and clear, so it is a good exercise for you to listen to. And there is a recommendation there, and it would be nice if after the holidays we meet and you tell me what do you think of this recommendation, whether it is possible, just for you to have to practice. But it is very clear and very, he speaks very slowly, and that's why it is valuable. So that is the optional one. And then there is this reading, which is a chart, really. It's a chart with characteristics of beginner students. So if we are thinking of beginners, right, our students will be in these 2 levels of development of language: beginning and developing. And this was made by the Ministry of Education, Alberta, Canada. And this is for us to think, how would we help students in these stages? So it's for you to think of different activities according to what we saw in videos. Yes. How to make language comprehensible that you're going to complete here. So that's the task. It's very short. It's really very short. It's for you to fill in some gaps, algún conocimiento que faltaba, alguna lectura que faltaba. But it's not for you to be writing for 2 weeks. No, it's just this week. You start today, tomorrow, and you finish. It's the reading, the actual reading, which is for you a good practice in reading. Something we need to do. Yes. There are some reading here, some ideas, so something you need to refer to. And then the reading, just the practice for reading. Is very easy reading with examples from oral language. And the second reading, which is very short. They all talk about the same topic. And this is the last question is what we are going to think about for when we come back from the free week. Yes, so it is really very short. Do not spend, as I say, a week doing next week doing this. No, it's not. Again, you can ask me questions and complete it and just be free of that, of the task. Okay. But before starting, okay, and I was talking about the Bitácora before everyone connected. By the end, you're going to see that I was analyzing, yes, I was analyzing the our assessment summary. Can you see the assessment summary, girls?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was analyzing is that there is not much left to do because you have completed your participation. I keep on checking and you will have your grade, your percentage of grade. The Learning Bitácora is very good that I know now how you're doing so that you can complete it. You have more time until July to complete it. So that's why I am asking you for the Bitácora, to give you feedback. Yes. And with that, I will be sure we are accomplishing this percentage, you know? So, okay, check. One last thing. With a quiz, you're going to have this 20 more. So in that sense, we will be accomplishing 60% of the whole module. So that gives us a moment to say, okay, well, relax. We have worked hard, but we have accomplished all this. And there will be no more tasks. So this is the end of the Bitácora. So you don't need to add more. So that's why I was asking you to upload it for me to give you feedback. And then we are going to have another quiz. I was explaining the girls earlier. Yes. And then another, and this other activity that I'm going to explain. But if we see in this way things, we will say, oh, okay, we are not so far behind and we have been working hard and we have our reward. Yes, we are clear that we have worked hard and we have everything done. Okay, so I will stop here and going back to the PowerPoint. So what I did here was to ask some questions from you. So what was it like to do the midterm on Educandos? What did you think of that? What is your opinion? Was the first time? Was it easy, difficult? Anything?
For me, it was strange because never I make a task in not task exam in also to Educandos. No, the last year, yes, I have one, but now it's okay. I going with my time.
Yes, exactly. So that's the idea of online teaching, girls, that online teaching takes a time, people organize their time and the time they have, and they do the task. So that's the idea of doing online work. Working at our own pace. If we work at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's okay. If we work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's okay as well. So online work and in education is a good option. Sometimes it can be very tiring if it is every day or every day in the week. But it's a good way to study postgraduate courses, for example. Many people do a doctoral program via online because they take their time. Yes, they are at a distance and they take time to do their work, exactly as Barbara said. Any other ideas of the midterm online? Was it stressful or relaxing? How was it? Girls? Any idea?
And I consider the midterm online is, for me, is relax.
Relaxing, yes.
Yes, because the more time for answer
exactly.
the exams.
Exactly, there is more time for answering. Yes, excellent. So that's the idea. That's what I was telling you. It gives you a little bit more time. And what do you think of this learning process during this time of contingency? Because it's not the normal time in our careers. It's not normal. What do you think of this process? Anyone?
The learning process is new for everyone. Is the new experience for this.
Yes, excellent, Javiera. Thank you. Camila, any idea about the learning process? It's very similar to this. It's a new process. Yes, it's a process. It's a moment of having a new experience, discovering new. Sometimes we don't have so much time, but in the second unit, and this was the topic that was missing. The important topic was the silent period. And that's what the readings are about, but you already have an idea of the silent period, you already read something, and the characteristics of early language learners. So these two objectives in this second unit were something that we needed to come back to. We didn't do before the quiz, before the midterm, so that's why we are doing now. And this is important because Standard 1, Pedagogical Standard 1, conoce a los estudiantes de educación básica y sabe cómo aprenden. It's something you need to know for every subject, including English. So that's why you need to know which are the periods that students go through when they are learning another language, a foreign language or a second language. And so that's what you're going to read about. And also the characteristics, yes? How are they learning? How do they relate to others? So in every aspect. So that's why this is important. Conoce los conceptos y principios fundamentales de las diversas teorías de aprendizaje. We know that, yes? Y desarrollo cognitivo, these stages, afectivo, social, y moral, because it's not only learning, but also having a relationship with classmates, with the teachers. So it's the development in general, yes, not only about learning. Y sabe utilizarlas para interpretar y diseñar diferentes situaciones de enseñanza-aprendizaje. So this is something very important for what we are going to do, mostly for what we have left in the semester. Okay, so these are the questions we also saw before about the baby. A baby is all the time listening to the language, learning. What does the baby learn? They learn vocabulary, body language as well, gestures. And how do they communicate? What do babies do before they speak? They do many things, but what do? They do gestures, movement. So I think what Barbara is saying is true. First of all, we need to understand, receive language, read language, listen to language, and build this vocabulary, develop the vocabulary and the grammatical structures. So this is what we are all the time doing at the early stages, and we continue along our lives. So it will be very quick in reading, but maybe then when I need to explain that, I will have to take some time. And that happens since we are babies all our lives. So we need to develop these abilities to receive and understand language. And this is what we're doing now. So for example, if you think when you were 8 years old and you were learning English, what did you, so this is what you're doing in your task. What did you learn to do at 8 years old? I learned to count to, for example. How many numbers did you know by then? In primary school, it could be elementary school, probably at 7, at 9. How do you learn?
Repetition.
By repetition, yes, you could repeat, but you learn to count to 10, for example, first. Yes, and I felt proud, me sentí orgulloso. And then I memorized. What do you memorize first when you are in elementary school? Something very, by repetition, as Barbara said.
Numbers, colors, what more? I don't remember. Animals.
Animals, yes, exactly. And greetings. Good morning, students. Good morning, Miss. Yeah, how are you today? I'm fine, thank you. Exactly. So all of these structures you memorize, and that's the process you're going through. Yes, Barbara?
Yes. When I was say hello, it's a process. It's no, I don't know, estipulado. Ya estaba tan, sí, era algo que se hacía por inercia ya.
Yeah, memorizado, yes, memorized, yes, exactly, exactly. And creating that almost a routine, a habit, yes, and to say always the same. And then when you go up, when you used to go, when you were going up in the learning process, you were progressing, you learned a few expressions. Yes, my name is, what else could you say? Hello, my name is, and what else? What other expression? What other sentence?
I'm from, I live, I have 10 years.
I am from, yes, I live in Linares. Yeah, exactly. So you progress, yeah. So this is what we all go through in the learning process, in our first language and in a second or foreign language that we can learn. So we go from numbers, colors, isolated words to short, simple sentences, and so on and so forth. And you have there in the Word document, you have more of these. So this is what you're doing there. And we saw something very short about the silent period. What do you remember? Because you already read about this in a short text.
The person don't speak, express a little.
There is no speech. We can have variations. There can be no speech, or what Barbara is saying, there is
the purple and little song, a little word.
Yes, so people can say a few words. So We can say there are a few words. Excellent. Probably one word.
Yes, or short sentences.
Very short, very short. But mostly girls think there might be a response that is physical, like in total physical response. Yes. So there is understanding. Children understand, but they cannot produce the language. So yes.
They repeat all the information in his mind.
Exactly. They repeat, they connect information in their heads, and they make these connections in their brains because they're building up the language. Yes, and the knowledge of that language. Yes. So there are physical responses. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. So you remember this very well. This reading will be just a joke for you because you are already so knowledgeable. So it will be very easy. And here you have a summary. This is my summary. But I wanted you to have all these fresh ideas and to understand. So in linguistics, this silent period is called the pre-production period. So some authors refer to the pre-production period, others to the silent period. And speakers don't speak much, as you said before, maybe one word, maybe few words, or maybe no word at all, and that's okay. It's a process. It can take different a variation of amounts of time. It can be 2 to 6 months, depending on exposure. So if the child is living in a country where the English language is spoken, this time can be shorter. If students are only learning in schools, that time can be longer. Yeah, it depends. It depends on the input they receive. Learners and speakers understand more than they can produce. What we were saying before, remember, we can understand, read, but maybe we cannot say everything. Yes, we do not have all the vocabulary. You keep on thinking, and this happens to you every day when we are in class. You need time to think, look for the words, make connections, as we learned with cognitivism, and make all this process, yes, in order to speak. And we also saw something about these learners should not be forced to speak. Can I oblige a child to speak? We saw something about this. So this is not a very good procedure. I cannot force the children to speak. Then the speakers need to develop receptive vocabulary, what we were saying, build up the vocabulary, the structures. And teachers need to pay attention to personalities. Some children are more communicative than others, or some cultures also influence in this difficulty to produce language. And if we know about this, if you know, and you now are going to be teachers in a few days, if you know about this, you will be less stressed with your students. And students will be more relaxed as well. So that's why we need to know about this. Any doubts, girls? Do you understand? So that's a reading. It's a very easy reading. The topic you already know. And this is the last question, is to make a list of activities that will help develop receptive skills. So we will start by thinking of the receptive skills. Yes, which are they? Which are the receptive skills? You dictate to me. Liz?
Listening.
Listening, yes. And there are 2.
Reading? No, writing.
Reading. Yeah, so this is receptive. I receive information. But we're going to focus, girls, on listening. just to finish this module, I had to make a decision. And so we're going to do the listening. Now, immediately, and then speaking. But at this time, we are going to focus on these students that are in the silent period and do not require them to speak. So we need to develop, because we can do activities for them. It's not that I'm not going to do anything. I am a teacher and we have these students, so we need to help these students. So this is the task, the most difficult. I need you to think of pairs. If you don't want to tell me now, you can write to me an email, or we can talk after the break. In pairs, you will have to reflect about which activity you would like to do to help your students in the silent period develop listening skills. And this will be our challenge for after the break. Yeah? So you will start, you will read this, you will read about this, about the listening activities, and you will start thinking which activities you would like to do. Okay. So this is by the end of the reading. Yeah. This is the optional listening with my questions for you to reflect. It's a very easy video. I really recommend it. And the speaker gives you some recommendations, and it's just something to reflect. Yes. Okay. When we come back from the free week, we are going to discuss this a little bit more about your reading. Right. So everything is for us to discuss after you come back. And this is the last text I showed you about. There is a website from the Ministry of Education, Alberta, Canada, with the characteristics. So if you click here, you will have the characteristics. You already saw them. For you to complete the chart. For example, we're going just without reading anything, with the things you know. What can you say about these students who are bored with grammar exercises, for example? I will show you the way. So just think, yes, piensen. ¿Qué pasa con este chico que está aburrido con las clases de gramática en la escuela? And I will look for the grammar sentences. What can you do with him? Come on, you did the quiz. You did the quiz, you talked about this. Which activities can you do? One idea. The teacher, I can help you. The teacher can what can the teacher do?
Search a new strategy.
Yes, exactly.
What is the correct form of pronounce strategy?
Strategy. So they can think of a new strategy to teach.
Yes.
Grammar. Yeah, okay. For example, you know all the activities that we saw in task-based, in active learning. Which activity can you help your students learn the same sentences, but not just writing very boring sentences in their notebook?
Active learning.
Active learning, yes. For example, yes. by doing, what can they do? They can they organize a game, for example?
Yes, games or
a competition, so that they go to the board and write a sentence by sections, for example. What else? Yes, I hear you. I listen to you. What else? What else can the students do?
Games online.
Do you understand the example, girls?
Yes.
Okay, very good. We're almost finished. Almost finished. This is again a repetition of TPR and TPRS. Remember, we are working with beginners, yes, students that are at the very low level of knowledge of English. So these two approaches are very useful. And you have here the videos to give you examples. And then that will be it. Do you think, girls, you can do this? So girls, finish reading everything in your in the task, and tomorrow we can connect again. I will send you a link, and we can finish just discussing these last exercises, and that's it. And you disconnect until Monday, I don't know, 15th, I think. So I hope to see you all then. And if you have any other question, you can ask me, you can send me a text message.